In the life of Pi, he says, I survived the storm, I survived the pestilence, I survived almost starving to death, I survived the tiger, I survived almost losing my mind. He said, and when I finally got there, he said, I held on to the boat. I was afraid that I would get that close to deliverance and die in shallow water. What is the thing that makes us fearful in safe places? Fearful in safe places. Why is he clutching onto the boat in 2 feet of water? What do you do when your senses are lying to you? When you live in a realm of thinking that you're going to crash, but you're not? Thinking that you can't make it, but you can? Thinking that you're in danger, but you're safe? I'm talking about exhausted emotion. Don't be moved by exhausted emotions. See, I learned that when you get tired, you can't trust how you feel. I'm preaching right to somebody. I don't know who it is. When your emotions are exhausted, they will send you false signals. They'll make you think you're in danger when you're not. They'll make you think you can't trust who you can. They'll make you think people hate you who love you. They'll make you lash out at people who are really trying to help you because you have exhausted emotions. When you get tired, your perception of the situation is altered. When you get tired, you'll be scared when you're safe. When you get tired, you'll be holding on to what's familiar and missing the fact that you can hold on to the promise before you. When you get tired, you make dumb decisions because you have exhausted emotions. A psychiatrist friend of mine described it this way. He said, when you are anxious or exhausted, it's like flying a plane, but you can't trust the dials. In other words, you'll feel like you're going to crash even when you're safe. Don't be moved by exhausted emotions. Exhausted emotions make you paranoid. Exhausted emotions make you fearful. Exhausted emotions take the pleasure out of surviving away. You know, I imagine when Paul was on the ship and the ship started coming apart and they were out there in the water, he would have thought, oh, if I can get to the shore, I'm gonna dance. When I get to the shore, I'm gonna shout the victory. If I make it out of this, I'm gonna give God the praise. If I finally finish this, I'm gonna dance all over this place. If we ever get this house paid for, we're gonna shout the victory. If we ever get these kids raised, we're just gonna dance and shout. If I ever get this bill paid off, I'm gonna shout the victory. If you ever get over this cancer, we're gonna go out and celebrate. If we survive this leukemia, we're gonna run up and down the aisle. But do you not know that statistics say that most marriages who have gone through catastrophic incidents fall apart after they survived it? because they're tired. It's called compassion fatigue. Compassion fatigue. I gave out. I wore out. We made it, but I was exhausted. Wore my party out of me. Wore the smile off my face. Wore the step out of my walk. What does that mean? I could succeed, I could survive and not feel successful. What happens when you get there and it doesn't feel like what you thought there would feel like? If you'd have told the little girl in you that you would end up at the place in life that you'd ended up now, living in the house you're living in, accomplished as much as you'd accomplished, she'd have thought, oh, if I get that far, oh, that's gonna be wonderful. So why aren't you happy? Couldn't imagine owning your own car and you got one. Why aren't you happy? Couldn't imagine getting your own house. Can't imagine it. You got one. Why aren't you happy? You couldn't imagine having a husband or a wife. You got one. Why aren't you happy? You prayed to have a child, cried because you couldn't have one, then got one. Why aren't you happy? Oh, no shouting now. Oh, it got kind of quiet now. Why doesn't Paul dance? He could have died in the storm. He could have gone down with the ship. He could have drowned in the water. He makes it to Melita and collapses on the shore. What do you do when survival does not feel successful? When the mission completed does not make you want to celebrate? Is it that you underestimated how much it would cost you to get where you are? Is it that you have denied yourself the right to have survived and still be exhausted? There is nothing wrong with being tired. He says, I was afraid to let go of the boat for fear that I would drown in 2 feet of water. You have survived being in 1,000 feet of water. You swam through 500 feet of water. You made it through water that if you hadn't have been tough, you would have drowned in long time ago. You made it through times that tried everything in you that could be tried, and you made it safely to the other side. And now at a moment of celebration, you are standing here still fearful, afraid you're going to die in 2 feet of water. Don't you know you can't trust how you feel? When you're tired, your feelings are off. Your emotions are crazy. You get angry about stuff that's not important. You snap at people who are trying to be nice to you. When you are tired, you cannot live up under your own counsel. If you listen at your own counsel, you will give up in 2 feet of water. And the Lord told me to warn you. Keep on flying, but don't read the dial. Keep on stroking even when you feel like I'm scared to death. You may be scared to death, but you're closer now than you've ever been in your life. I said you're closer now than you've ever been in your life. It doesn't feel like what you think it would feel like. I talked to a young man, he said, I can't imagine what it'd be like to be you. I said, is that what you want to be? He said, oh yeah. He said, oh yeah, if I could just be you. He said, that's absolutely amazing. He said, I'm not trying to wish anything bad on you. He said, but I just love to be you. He said, it'd just be wonderful. It'd just be marvelous. It'd just be spectacular. I said, would it? Are you sure? Are you sure? I mean, from the outside, you got an opinion, but are you sure? See, the problem with the church is we have bought into these mystical, magical things where people come up and lay hands on you and give you a double portion of their spirit, and they confer blessings on you, and they confer the anointing on you. Let me tell you something, most of that is garbage. You want to get my anointing? Suffer like I suffered. Cry like I cried. Do without like I did without. Crawl with dirt in your fingernails. By the time you get through bleeding and crying and suffering and you finally get there, it's not going to feel like what you thought it would feel like, because along the journey, it costs you so much to get there that success doesn't feel successful. Survival doesn't make you want to celebrate. Paul made it to the shore, but he was almost dead. Who am I preaching to? You got all kind of people who wish they could be you. Say, if I could only have his situation. Oh, you got your own law practice. Oh, you got your degree. Oh, you married a man with a degree. People have all kind of ideas of what it feels like to be you, but they don't know that you're out of breath and about to pass out and at your wits' end and scared to death, and at the end of your rope,